Welcome all, fellow Scouters. On behalf of Scouting Ireland, I'd like to welcome you all again to our webinar tonight. This session will be for around 40 minutes. My own name is Donal Leahy. I'm a Scouter with the 27th Galway Caravan, just outside Loughrea in County Galway. It's a grand area in Galway East, foothills of the Slieve Mountains. For my sins, I'm also the PSO for the Western Province, so that's the Provincial Sport Officer. So the purpose of our webinar, or campfire as I like to call it, because that's what this is about tonight. It's about sitting around, having a chat with fellow Scouters. And we're going to talk about how they have sold their 12 days of Christmas tickets. And we do understand that this year has been a very difficult year to sell the 12 days of Christmas tickets in the traditional way due to COVID. But some groups have come up with a unique idea and selling their tickets using technology. And we're going to share their ideas. So pull in a chair or the rug, come in around the campfire, and we're going to have a chat about it. My team support me tonight. I have James Fox, getting the two mixed up there. He has extension leads all plugged in, ready and tested. Didn't burn any of them this time, James, fair play to you. So he has the laptops all charged up for our Scouters and tablets to tell their stories. Neil Collins is going to keep the campfire going with all the Q&As that's coming in. Don't throw any damn sods in tonight, Neil. We had too much smoke the last night. So for the Q&A session, we're going to have at the bottom of your screen, that's where you'll feed in your Q&A, and that'll be at the bottom of your screen there. For questions, if you want a question directly to our Scouters, just put their name at the start of the question and they will know where to direct it. So on with the stories from our fellow Scouters. First up tonight, we have Barry Kennedy from Cardav, County Limerick. Then we have Owen Canan from St. Oliver's in County Louth. I hope I pronounced that correctly, Owen. And last but not least, we have Mark Noonan from 6 Mile Bridge in County Clare. They'll introduce themselves in a little bit more detail when they come on to chat with you and when they're going to tell their story, how they're doing it. So first up tonight, we have Barry, or Baz as I like to call him. I know Baz going back a long time. You're very welcome tonight, Baz, and we'll hand you over to Baz to have a chat about how they have sold their tickets and what they have, how they got about it. Thank you, Baz.
Thanks, Noel. So we've been it's been a big fundraiser for us for the last number of years. It's sort of one of our main we do about 3 big fundraisers, and this is probably the biggest one we do each year. Traditionally, we would have given a book out to all the kids, and they would have brought along to family gatherings, their neighbours. I know when I was a young beaver and cub, I was nearly banned from all family gatherings for showing up each year with tickets. The last 2 or 3 years, we've worked mainly by setting a stand up in the local Duns or Mace and selling tickets that way. So we'd normally bring in about €2,000, €3,000 each year from that. Obviously, this year is quite different for a number of reasons, and the idea of going down to a shop and sitting there for a day or 2 days just wasn't an option. So when the books arrived in, we were like, how are we going to do this? But I think our motto in the group has always been about being proactive, finding solutions to problems. So we started looking at different ways we could do it. We had looked at setting up a PayPal account and selling tickets online. We had run a very good fundraiser over the summer using GoFundMe. So we thought we'll do our best. And then while we were in the process of trying to get that set up, we saw a good friend of ours, Owen Callanan, had set up a website called scoutschristmasdraw.ie.
Is Barry frozen there a bit, guys? Hello, Barry. Are you back there again, Barry?
We were using what he was going to use the group sign. So I got done. We met for 2 hours, and within 3 hours of the. Can you hear me now? Hello.
Yeah. If you turn off your mic, if you turn off your video, Barry, while you're speaking, it might improve your signal.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So I sent the email to Owen, and within 2 hours we had the site set up, and within 3 hours we had a ticket sold, and we've gone on to sell over 600 tickets in the last 2 weeks. So that was our, which is much more than we'd ever hoped we could sell this year. It's not the same as any other year, but it's definitely kind of a huge improvement. It's not been challenged, but we're definitely glad we went with the online.
That's brilliant. I think Baz is we're having some IT issues there with connectivity problem. The joys of technology and everything else, guys. When it's great, it's great. And when it goes wrong, it's not pleasant. We'll give Baz a chance there maybe to reconnect and come back in, and we'll bring him back in a few minutes. So I'll transfer over there to our next scouter, over to Owen, to have a chat with us how he sold and how they went online with their tickets. So over to you, Owen, and pull in around the old campfire there and have a chat.
Thanks, Noel. My name is Owen Can. I'm the group leader in 3rd, 4th, 6th Loud St. Oliver's, Drogheda. So how we would usually do the 12 days of Christmas has always been like youth members would get their books, bring them home, sell them to their families, and come back, get more books and sell, which is great. We also then focused heavily on shopping centres. In Drogheda, there's 4 shopping centres with a massive footfall, so we had focused heavily on that previously. The 12 days Christmas has been the fundraiser for St. Oliver's over the past number of years, looking in the region to take it in probably about 6k on average the past number of years. So when things went the way they did this year, it kind of was kind of something that we knew we would miss, and something we had to kind of be proactive about and kind of see how we could actually rectify the loss from not being able to kind of sell in the shopping centres more so than that's. What we did first, and what the priority for ourselves was, to get every youth member a book anyway. So we organised collection days for them to come down to the hall, adhering to the guidelines, and handed out a book to them all. We've promoted the fact that we want them to sell through Revolut, kind of other online platforms such as that, bank transfers, things like that they could sell that way. Rather than going door to door, maybe pick up the phone to someone and kind of take money electronically that way. The second thing we did to try and supplement and kind of take back the loss from the shopping centres was look at an online platform that we could sell to the wider community in our area. We linked in with an Irish company from Limerick, I Donate is the website, where we set up our platform and put out the link to our Facebook page. What we did before that, and the most important thing to kind of note, was that everyone does this and it happens very regular, but what we kind of wanted to kind of stand out from the crowd was, well, unfortunately, capitalize on the prizes, because the prizes are phenomenal, as we all know. And we kind of did a kind of short promo video for that, which to date has interacted with over 4,000 people. We did weekly competitions. So how we did that was the group purchased the book and paid the €40 for it. And what we did was we did weekly competitions to like, comment, tag 2 friends, and share the post to be my chance to win the raffle. So we raffle off then 5 tickets each week. So currently we've done 3 weeks. We've got 1 week left to go. So we're going to keep on pushing that as best we can. And we did do a bit of pay-per-click, as in paid advertisements for our posts, and pushed that out to kind of the wider community and kind of get the kind of message out there that we're selling online and what we could do with that. That's basically what we've done so far. We're still kind of selling at the moment online, and we're kind of getting our youth members back in this week, hopefully, to kind of see where we're at there now this year.
That's great, Owen. And I suppose just to tease out the advertising element from how you promote it online, was that through Facebook or through Instagram, or was it through the I Donate element that you did your advertising there? How did you do
it? What we did was we basically advertised through Facebook. So we have a like page. The group page is a like page, so we're able to boost posts and kind of target different areas and different kind of localities, different age ranges as well. And we kind of boosted it and posted it through Instagram as well. Instagram ads is what we kind of shared on, and we got all the leaders to share on their stories, share the posts as best they can, and kind of as well getting the word out there, getting engagement, building engagement as much as we could, and that was kind of how we focused it.
Okay, and you kept your focus locally, or did you cover a bigger audience, kind of nationwide audience within your profile of your Facebook advertising?
We went within about 25 miles of Drogheda, so we did. That's kind of what we did with the targeting, more so than that's because we felt that like no one would know us beyond that, so we kind of felt that's kind of what we kept it in. And that 25 miles kind of took in a lot of the surrounding areas of Louth, a good bit of Meath, a bit of North Dublin. So that's kind of the area the catchment kind of went with.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you. We'll take any more questions at the end there again, Owen. But thanks for that. That's a very insightful, I suppose, way of selling, and fair play to you for, I suppose. Yeah, it's that type of year. Everyone has to look outside the box and look at how we can do. We're looking at how we're doing our scouting differently. So now we have to look at how we're doing our fundraising and everything else differently as well. So our next scouter in there, guys, is Mark from 6 Mile Bridge, and Mark and his colleague Owen that actually developed the platform that Baz was speaking about earlier. I had a look at it earlier on. Looks amazing. Hats off, Mark. It looks the part, and as you're the man from the West, what would yourself. But Mark, I'll hand it over to you to have a chat about your website, how you put it all together, what sort of interaction you're getting from it, and maybe a little bit of advice for other scouters, maybe if they'd like to join in even at this late stage, and maybe you might be able to talk through the time frame of what it takes to kind of, when they contact you, how long it takes to get the platform up and running. So over to you, Mark, and thanks again.
Thanks, Noel. Hi guys, I'm Mark from 14 Clare 6 Mile Bridge, group leader there now, just this year basically. How we ended up here 2 years ago when I was trying to sell 12 Days of Christmas tickets. I WhatsApped my friends, loads of them bought them, and I said I'd get the money off them later, and then I didn't because time passes, the raffle happens. You didn't win the prizes, and you feel like, oh, you owe me a tenner. So I just didn't follow up. Last year, I sent a personal PayPal link to my friends. They all gave the money. I probably made 60 quid just from my own small group of friends on WhatsApp. So I knew it would work, and I basically went to a good friend of mine, Owen Callanan, who basically I looked for a favour off, and I know Owen has the expertise to do this. So Owen, I basically said to Owen, I think we should build a website that any group can use through a simple process, and they can sell their 12 Days of Christmas tickets through it. So, 1 second now. Yeah, so there's 12 groups using this website now. That's what this is the general page of all the groups using it. But all you gotta do is put your group's name at the end, and then it'll bring you to your own group's page, and then that's just buy tickets. So there's 12 groups using it, and I was just texting Owen Callanan there, and it's just past the 5,000 tickets mark. So we sold over 5,000 tickets on this little website as of today. The idea is that anyone can use this. This website's here. All you have to do is have a payment method set up. So we can't help you do that, myself or Owen. The biggest hurdle Owen has found in the last 4 or 5 weeks is people coming back to us saying, oh, we can't set up Stripe, or oh, we can't set up PayPal. Now, that's kind of up to you. It's not that hard. As I said, Barry's done it, I've done it. I know Noel has a Stripe account for his group as well. It's a little bit of paperwork. The main thing you need is you can use what I think everyone has used is the Scanning Ireland company number. And then personally, we have a tax cert. We need it for anytime we're applying for grants or stuff. That's been the biggest hurdle for people, is that little bit of paperwork to get Stripe set up. Now, Stripe is the preferred option because it's cheaper. The transaction fees are lower than PayPal. Next year, if this is going ahead, there might be another option for Revolut, but they're not there yet. They don't have what they call a business account yet. But that's the biggest hurdle. In terms of setting up, what you need is your Stripe account, and then you just need your ticket numbers. So what you do is you email Owen at hi, where is it, down at the bottom there? Or should be, it's hi@owencallanan.ie, I think. It's very simple to set up, but now the thing is, Owen is working full time, usually from 8 to 8, so he does this in the evenings out of, just for his love of scouts. There's no benefit to Owen or myself in this. There's a small percentage goes to Stripe, all right, but Owen's basically doing this in his evenings when he's finishing work. So if I can't imagine too many groups are going to inundate him at this stage. Now we're at the 1st of December, but if 1 or 2 groups are looking to join it, you can get onto him. But if it takes a day or two for him to reply, just that's the nature of the volunteers. So yeah, that's the biggest hurdle. And then all we did was you put in your ticket numbers. So you grab out the box the Scouting Ireland sent you, take half an hour and go through it and make sure you know exactly what tickets you have and what tickets you want to enter on the system. And then as you sell the tickets will be allocated. And that's we feel that just kind of makes it official. The ticket numbers are decided and they're gone, and those tickets are sold. And what I'm doing then in probably next venture meeting next week, gonna get a few pizzas and a few bottles of fizzy, and basically I've got 575 tickets that need to be written up. So that'll just be basically a bit of a venture meeting with a bit of pizza in our outdoor area. So I figure if I have 10 ventures show up, they got to write out 60 tickets each. We'd have it done in a couple of hours. So that's our plan. Again, there really isn't much technical work to this, guys. It's just the case that the only hurdle we've found really over the last few weeks is, well, number one, people have emailed Owen a lot saying, what's the catch? And number two, is setting up your payment system. So Stripe or PayPal. It's not really that hard. If you have someone with a bit of a technical aspect, maybe just take it on for you. If you're a group leader that you're a bit tech phobia or fear of tech, maybe you need help with that, but we can't do that for you. You need to set up that yourself. But besides that, there's 12 groups using it. There's 5,000 tickets sold, and I'm hoping to sell a good few more before in the next week.
Yeah, there's 2 weeks left, Mark. That's amazing, Mark. Really well done. And I suppose if the way you're talking there, to set up the Stripe account, you're going to need your tax clearance cert or some sort of tax number or something like that. But that's a straightforward. A lot of groups would have that from applying for the capital sports grants and stuff like that. And if not, it's only a matter of contacting the local tax office or go online there. You should be able to get it pretty quickly. In all fairness, the Stripe accounts are, and I know people that have Stripe and have PayPal, and the Stripe, the fees are a good bit less, and I think they were originally Irish. I suppose it is easier for supporting local and sports Irish as well. So maybe that's the way to go on it. But again, what I suppose I've just gone back. I'm from looking at the website, I'm blown away by it. The work that you put in as volunteers, it's just amazing there, and I'd hate to even ask you the man hours that's been put in, but there's been a lot, and fair play to you. And I suppose the one other element I'd see as a benefit to you going forward, potentially, if there was a way of maybe from a Scout in Ireland point of view or national office, that those tickets could be made available to you online, that people can go in, fill in their ticket and do the whole thing there online. That would be possibly a potential there, bringing it to the next step. And that's just me thinking out that someone that drove a trowel for 30 years laying bricks, maybe not necessarily knowing a hell of a lot about the IT element. These things sound like a great idea till you go at them, but that's fantastic. So I'm going to hand you over to our the Q&A man, Neil. Is there any questions in there, Neil, that you'd like to ask the lads? And Baz, you're welcome back again. Thank you.
There's a couple of questions there, Noel, that are directed at individuals, really about the ticket numbering and the bits on that. So there's one for Owen, which is how do they keep track of the tickets, the ticket numbers specifically? And that's from Fiona in the West. So Owen, have you on your side, and maybe Mark then would answer on the website from their side?
Yeah, so basically we're kind of the same as Mark. What we would do is we'd allocate when a donation comes in, we'll allocate exactly who's getting that. So as soon as donation comes in, we write out the ticket there and then. That's kind of what the people are getting, as in that, and that's their ticket. Then we'd send them on a photo of their the handout, the 12 Days Christmas stuff that they have their ticket there and then. That's kind of what we're doing. But yeah, it's an admin kind of thing that we have people physically writing it out at present. But yeah, as Noel was saying, like, that'd be brilliant if we could look at the next level, that they're literally filling the ticket online and then there's no cost actually printing the tickets up. Then that's the kind of future element more so than anything else. But yeah, that's kind of what we're doing at the moment.
Yeah, thanks for that, Owen.
Great. Thanks, Owen. There's another question there as well in connection with selling. Sorry, Mark. Sorry, apologies. If you have any input there.
No, as I said, same. Yeah, as I said, just with our system, when the group leader or whoever's doing it sets it up, we simply ask you input yourself what tickets you have. So if you've got tickets number 120000 to 122999 or whatever it is, you put them in there and then it's done, and then it'll just start selling them from in numerical order until it runs out of tickets. So I didn't put in them all. I just took two handfuls, which made up about 1,000 tickets, and it's about halfway through them. So if it does go mad in the next 2 weeks, I'll just keep an eye on the numbers, and if I need to add another tranche of tickets I will. But that's it for now.
Yeah,
great.
I can send you on a few more if you need them there, Mark. There's no problem.
Thanks, Noel. Another question in from Elisa. Just wondering, is there a donation charge, as in a percentage of ticket sales? So maybe that again for Mark on your website, and then Owen, if you want to come in, do you charge for the sale, or does and is there a charge for the online system?
So I'll take that there for a second. So if we go into our tickets, so we're not charging anything, as in myself or Owen or anything like that, but Stripe does have charges. You can't really avoid them now. Going forward next year, we might be able to talk to Stripe and they might be able to help us out with something. So we see here, the biggest thing with this is there is a transaction fee, but we played with this and there's a few choices. So there's 5 tickets for sale. And if I just go here to check out. Okay, so there's a that's just my antivirus. So there is a charge there. So for 10 tickets, it's charged at 47 cents. Now, the first week we were playing with this, I think it was simply, to be honest, people through ignorance, we were taking the fees, so we were taking the hit on the fees, but it was just the wording. I kind of changed the wording here with the processing fees to ensure the scouts receive the full price of your ticket by covering the transaction charges. And basically, so if people buy a tenner worth of tickets, it's going to cost them 47 cents. If they don't want to pay that, that's fine. That means the scout group will take the hit for the 47 cent. Now, personally, I don't think that's too bad either way, but it is there. So that's going to Stripe, nothing to do with, as I said, the website. It's just going to Stripe. The more tickets you buy, the less impact the fees have. So if you only buy 1 ticket, the processing fee for the €2 is about 30 cents, maybe 35 cents. But when you buy a tenner's worth, it's only 47 cents. So it is something to be aware of. It is there. That's the nature of the world we live in. Like, these things, everything has to be paid for. But we have found, since we changed the wording here, that 99% of people who buy tickets are just they take the 47 cent fee, and we get the whole tenner ourselves. So
yeah, I suppose the motto there is buy more and buy often.
Yeah.
Back to you, Neil.
Great, and I wonder, is that similar on your site? Do you do the same?
With the iDonate site, it's a 4% charge per purchase. So it is. So yeah, so any purchase that's made, it's a 4% charge. That basically takes off the proceeds more so than nothing else. It doesn't put back onto the purchaser. And that's kind of, yeah, so it's 4%.
It's still a quite low percentage overall, guys, when you look at them. If you're looking at the volume of tickets you've been selling, and the amount of revenue that's coming back and income coming back to the group, it's, yeah, I think I'd take the hit of the 4%. Back to you, Neil.
Great.
Thank you.
So there's another question, a couple of technical questions coming in that we might get the guys to answer offline, but for Lisa is asking Mark whether it's a plugin for the website. So this would be a technical term that's way above my head. So maybe Mark might know the answer to that. And it'd be great to know which one worked for you.
Well, I'm again, Untitled he's put in all the work in this. As I said, the only reason he can't be here tonight is he's still working. So, but he would have the technical aspects. He literally built this. It took him about 2 weeks of evenings. In terms of, I do know because I would have done it for my group. You just with Stripe, you just take the API code and you copy it into what Owen's built. It's very straightforward. It's there in your admin settings. Put in your Stripe or your PayPal API, and that's it. It's ready to rock and roll. Besides that, it's the website as you see it, scoutschristmasdraw.ie. You can add in your own group about and stuff like that, but that's it. There's nothing else to it. Owen has done all the hard work. All you really have to do is sign on, put your ticket numbers in, and if you want to put in a spiel for your own scout group.
That's great, Mark. Super. Now, just like another question as you're on live on this one, there was a question in connection with Owen's email. So whether you can say that again, that would be for Owen Callan. If you want to give it out, that would be great. Or if we can do it offline, maybe.
Yeah, I have to double check it, to be honest, because
GDPR.
We'll get back to that one, people, yeah. Whether we should publish it for him.
But again, it is now 1st December, just to make people aware, like, Owen is doing all this out of the goodness of his heart, and at this stage it might take him a couple of days if he gets inundated with requests to get them up and running. But we'll put it up offline. I need to double check it before I say it again, just in case.
Absolutely.
We can send it out there now.
A couple of more questions there, Noel, just before we finish up. So there's a question in connection with the tax cert that you were questioning. Scouting Ireland does have a tax cert number, and whether we can use that one or not. And I'm not too sure if anyone would like to take that one on the tax cert. So we might get back to you on that one, Fiona, just to let you know that we have noted your question, and we might just get back to get you the proper answer really on that one. But this is probably for everyone. If somebody wants to ask, it's really about selling. If anybody has sold them on shops yet, their local shop is willing to allow them sell them, but they must wear the appropriate PPE, and about guidelines around that. Again, it's a question that we may not have the answer, but if anyone likes to give their opinion.
Well, we've just gone online this year. I mean, just with COVID, I just simplified it, and I mean, I didn't give them out to the group because, again, it's like you can't really visit Granny and you can't visit the aunties and uncles, so we just stayed completely online this year.
I think what we'll do there with that question, we'll get some information on that and publish it with later on, as Noel was saying in that one. And there's just a final one on the, as Mark outlined, there's a few questions coming in on about the technical sides of the website and Owen's contact details. We will clear it with Owen first before we give out his details. So if you can just give us 24 hours on that, we will make sure that you get, if we can, if he's willing to send them out. Okay, so that's a few questions there, Noel, that we have at the moment. Back to you.
Okay, guys, that's the end of our webinar, guys, for tonight. It's a short, snappy, to the point, I suppose. Again, I'd like to thank you all the Scouters there as presenters. I think you've done something amazing, and it really, I suppose, to me, it personifies the whole Scouting spirit of, you know, people willing to go out there and, you know, even what just Mark and, you know, and Owen, what you've done there, you know, and be willing to share that. You know, that you could have charged any money for that, doing that, guys, and really well done. From a volunteer element, hats off. And I hope this, you know, it's like everything I've been saying all along, training has changed. We're now doing a lot of online training. We'll see a lot more of it. You know, how we're doing our business, how we're scouting. We're doing our scouting through Zooms, through all these different webinars and everything else that we're doing it. And yes, it will be great to get back to face-to-faces, but I think we'll take a lot from technology and running stuff online, and how we're doing our business going forward will be definitely changed. If it's something good from COVID, this will be it. So again, thank you all, guys. And if anyone has any more questions, just bang them into the Q&As, guys, and we will follow back with them. We would, I suppose, as staff, as PSOs and GSFs, PSOs and group support facilitators on the ground, we have our meetings on a weekly basis, and I suppose, it was the ideas and thoughts for running these webinars came from the PSOs and GSFs, and we're hoping to run something like this every month going forward. But they'll be run based on the ideas and suggestions from you as Scouters. So if you have any ideas, you can pop them into the Q&A bar there, and we'll pop them on. And if not, as I say for every webinar, contact your PSO or GSF. That's usually how we get to the bottom of all the emails. You know, that's where we contact. Okay, so we're the contact points. Okay, so again, I thank you. Thanks to everyone, and thanks to my colleagues for presenting this with me tonight. Until we see you again around the campfire, good night and God bless. Thank you.